my journal article presentation 1, titled General Education Teacher Perceptions of Self-Efficacy regarding teaching students with autism with inclusion settings. The author, Jennifer H. Condrey, presented by Erica Anderson. Overview of the article. This article is about the increasing number of students being diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and how that rising number has caused an increase in students with autism being integrated into general education classrooms. A study was conducted to gauge perceptions of self-efficacy among K-5 general education teachers who had experienced inclusion classrooms with students with autism. Research was conducted through digital surveys and personal interviews of the inclusion teachers in the K-5 general education setting. Analysis of the data showed that teachers had an overall positive view of inclusion. It highlighted positives that included benefits of inclusive classrooms for students with autism, and the largest area of concern was a lack of preparedness. Authors' perspectives and opinions. Literature reviews claimed lack of training for decreased perceptions of teachers. This was not proven to be the same views as participants of the study. Low perceptions of self-efficacy was influenced by 3 major factors. 1. Teachers' personal experiences with students with disabilities, autism in particular. 2. Communication with parents throughout the entire inclusion process. And 3. Creating an established environment where students are accepted and respected. While general education teachers support inclusion, they do not feel that they are fully prepared to implement inclusion practices in their classroom. My reaction. The practice of inclusive classrooms can be very beneficial if teachers are properly prepared to teach both general education and special education students together. There needs to be a level of support for teachers. Support for teachers, support for students, a collaborative effort in order for inclusive classrooms and programs to function properly. Communication is a vital component that needs to be present throughout the entire inclusion process. Parents and teachers need to communicate about the needs of the student that is going to be integrated into a general education classroom. They need to be on the same page and have a full understanding of all that the process entails. It's going to be an adjustment for not only the teacher, but the student and parents and other students in the class as well. If everyone is working together collaboratively and communicating, then it will help for a smoother transition and overall inclusion process. The increase in the number of students requiring special education services will require an increase in the number of inclusive classrooms, and there is a need to be prepared. I think that there's going to need to be some training in the future, and even currently now, there should be some training going on that allows teachers to be more prepared for special education students in the general education classroom. More and more classes are becoming inclusive, and teachers are not prepared for the type of educating that needs to be done in inclusive classrooms. Implications to practice. Learning what effective inclusion will look like. For me, that is supporting differentiated instructional practices, providing variety and meeting the learning styles of the students within your classroom. Differentiating instruction means that you're able to reach each of your students and the different ways that they may learn and the different levels that they may be learning on through lessons and activities and keeping them engaged in instructional and learning practices. Benefits of inclusion classrooms for both general education students and students with autism. I think the benefits for students with autism is that they're gaining the social aspects and academic aspects of being with general education peers. They're getting to really hone in on those social skills and, pick up on some of those academic advances that maybe some general education students may be able to provide. For general education students, I believe that an inclusion classroom provides an increased awareness and acceptance. They get to learn about differences in others, and it just creates an overall better understanding for students in general. I believe that inclusive classrooms can be beneficial for all students involved. It's a great learning and growing experience. Teaching strategies, I think improving perceptions through support. I mean by way of support of administration and teachers collaborating, general education teachers collaborating with exceptional student education teachers, and just kind of bridging the gap, so to speak. A preparedness, providing teachers with training and available resources so that they're better prepared to implement practices and teach in these inclusive classrooms. And experiences. Teachers need to really build relationships with students and families in order to gain these experiences, which will make for an overall better inclusive classroom and program experience. References: the General Education Teacher Perceptions of Self-Efficacy Regarding Teaching Students with Autism in Inclusion Settings, Jennifer H. Condrey, Gardner-Webb University, ProQuest Dissertations Publishing, 2015.